everyone. Thank you, NTTA, for having us. It's a real honor to be here. This is my first go at a conference with USAC. As you mentioned, my name is Labarta, and I'm the Tribal Liaison at USAC. Today, our presentation, we're really going to be giving a very brief overview of some of the programs and opportunities that there are to connect your communities using the Universal Service Fund. And we're really excited to be here. So yes, we want to get everyone connected, and we're doing that through the Universal Service Fund. So USAC, or Universal Service Administrative Company, we are an independent nonprofit corporation, and we work very closely and in partnership with the FCC to administer and work in a couple of different ways, including informing and educating our program audiences, collecting and distributing contributions, and also promoting program compliance. So I'm very excited to hand this over to Jamie to give you a little overview of all of the programs that we have.
Thank you. So I am going to very, very briefly walk you through the 5 programs that we are currently administering on behalf of the FCC to bring broadband access and connectivity from that infrastructure level to community organizations as well as to individual consumer households. So we're going to talk about our Congressional Response Program, the Affordable Connectivity Program, as well as 4 Universal Service Fund programs, so Lifeline, E-Rate, the Rural Healthcare Program, as well as High Cost. And I'm going to go through this information very quickly, but you can find more information in the presentation that's part of your packet, or if you'd like to come talk to us, we're sitting right outside those doors. We have some more information about each of the programs and can also talk to you about any questions that you might have, particularly about how to get involved from a service provider level or how to bring these programs to your community. So I'm going to start by talking about the High Cost, which is often referred to as the Connect America program. And the the High Cost program is designed to preserve and advance the universal availability of voice service, as well as building the infrastructure for broadband service. And the way that this program works is that the different Connect America funds will help offset some of the costs of building out infrastructure in areas that are either insular or rural, otherwise hard to reach, to try to sort of even out that cost between receiving service in more urban areas. So each of the funds runs a little bit differently. They have different requirements. They have different availability. So again, if you have questions about the High Cost or the Connect America Fund program, we're happy to talk to you about that. One thing to know is, unlike the other Universal Service Fund programs and ACP, the High Cost program really starts at the FCC. So if you are interested in a particular fund or an upcoming fund, you do want to keep an eye on the FCC website, because that is where those funds are announced, and then they're handed over to USAC sort of for the administration. And if you receive high cost money, you will then need to meet your build out requirements, as well as reporting requirements about where you have built out. And also there is some testing and some reliability. We want to make sure that the speeds that companies say they're building out are being built out. We want to make sure that where companies tell us that they're building that out is actually getting to. So again, and we can talk to you more about that. We call it the hub, or the high cost broadband map, is a place where you can see where previous funds have gone and where those build outs have happened. So if you're curious sort of in your community, if there has already been Connect America Fund money, we can show you how to use that map and find that information. The Rural Healthcare Program is our next program, and it provides funding to eligible healthcare providers for telecommunications and broadband services to help deliver healthcare. There are two main funds. So the telecommunications program funds voice services and telecommunication services, whereas the HCF, or the Healthcare Connect Fund, funds those broadband services, that network equipment, and the related costs. So again, those are two programs within the Rural Healthcare Fund, but they are both aimed at bringing telecommunications and broadband services to eligible providers, so that they can connect both with their patients, but also with other healthcare facilities. The example I like to use is if you are in a rural area that perhaps doesn't have someone who can read x-rays, the Rural Healthcare Fund can help provide some of the connectivity services, so you are able to send those to a doctor who's able to read them and bring that information back. And again, we have all of this information in this packet, but we're also happy to walk through this. Many of you may be familiar with the Lifeline program. I feel like Lifeline and E-Rate are the ones that people tend to know. So Lifeline is aimed at consumers, and the Lifeline program does have special tribal enhanced benefits. So I do want to hit on those pretty briefly. But the way that Lifeline works is that it provides a monthly benefit for low-income consumers to offset the cost of their broadband or telephone service. Right now, that ranges anywhere from $5.25 to $9.25, depending on the service. You guys may, if you're familiar with the Lifeline program, may be familiar with some of the telephone services have been starting to phase out, which is why there's that range of costs. Each eligible household can receive one Lifeline service, and consumers can meet program eligibility standards by qualifying through income or other government programs. But in addition, for consumers who live on tribal lands, they can qualify for an additional $25 benefit each month. They can also receive up to $100 in a link-up benefit, and that is essentially if their house is being connected to connectivity services for the first time, they can receive that additional benefit to offset some of the costs of bringing that service into the home. There are additional eligibility criteria for consumers living on tribal lands. So we have them listed here. And one thing that's important to know is that to qualify for Lifeline, a consumer must meet any one of these eligibility criteria. So they don't need to meet all of them. They can, if they qualify by income, they don't need to participate in any programs. If they participate in any single program, their household is qualified for the Lifeline program. And just to reiterate, it is a one per household program. So if anyone in the household qualifies, the household is qualified for Lifeline and can receive the benefits. And finally, the E-Rate program, which provides funding for schools and libraries to connect to telecommunications and broadband services. So it provides funding to schools and libraries across the nation so that they can receive affordable, high-speed broadband services, as well as those internal connections that they need to connect to educational services. In terms of who is eligible for this program, it is public or private schools, K through 12, libraries, groups of schools and libraries. So if you are a consortia that is a group of libraries or a group of schools, you can qualify for this program. And in terms of the services that we can fund at a very high level, it's that internet access, it's telecommunication services, it's related equipment. We do have a full and expansive list of all of those eligible services on our website. So again, I'm happy to walk through that with you. One thing that we do want to talk about is that there has been some clarity and a little bit of expansion in terms of tribal library eligibility. So back in 2022, the FCC went through and clarified the rules to confirmed that tribal libraries are eligible for the program. So they changed some of those eligibility criteria a bit. So now a tribal library can be designated as a library for the program by a tribal council. So for example, with a tribal resolution, to be designated a tribal library, they have to have 3 characteristics. So, and those are those regularly scheduled hours, staff, and materials that are available for library users. So again, if you have questions about if your library might qualify, we're happy to talk to you about that and provide some guidance. And then finally, we have one congressional response program. For those of you who participated in the COVID telehealth program and the Emergency Connectivity Fund, you may wonder why those aren't up there. And the reason is those are no longer accepting applicants, but the Affordable Connectivity Program is. So we wanted to talk about that. And this is another program that is aimed at households. And again, specifically to help low-income households afford broadband services. So it's a congressional program. So it's a little bit different from the Universal Service Fund programs. It allows households to receive $35 if they qualify for the program. Households on tribal lands can receive up to $75. Unlike Lifeline, it also provides a funding for a connected device, so a broadband connected device of up to $100 if the consumer receives that device from their broadband service provider. So that's important. You can't go out to Costco and buy a device and then apply for this funding. But if you get it from your service provider, it is eligible. And the most important thing to know is that eligible households can receive both the Lifeline and the ACP benefit. They can apply them to the same service. They can apply them to different services. They can apply them through one company. They can apply them through 2 different companies, but they are eligible for both of those. So I am going to hand it back to Jem so she can talk a little bit about how you can learn more or if you want to get in touch with us.
We're working really hard to be mindful of the time. So just wanted to thank you, Jamie, for speeding through that. And again, this information is you can scan the QR code and find it on the website, or you can come and check us out. We're right outside those doors. But to learn more, you can, of course, visit our website at usac.org. There are some more links there and some site-specific links to get you specific information. If you do have any questions or need any advice that you can't necessarily find on the site, I am available as well. The tribal liaison at usac.org address there is a really great one to get some quick responses. And again, we're going to be here all week, and we hope that you all stop by if you have any questions or would like to take any handouts back home with you. So thank you very, very much.